We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 409. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week is the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. You know him. You love him. He is Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how are you doing this evening, sir?
It is still just mind-boggling for me that just 2 weeks ago we were enjoying an incredible high that is in this crazy professional wrestling world. We were just eating it up, loving every course that was thrown at us. And now we're 2 weeks in of 2023, and this has just been one wild, crazy, insane ride that the wrestling world is putting us through. So I'm doing very well, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're doing a heck of a lot better than we were a few days ago. But before we get to all
Oh my
that,
God.
let me bring in, also joining us this week, another undisputed scholar and the Scholars of Wrestling world champion. He is Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I am also in the same boat as Scholar Torek, where I'm weirded out, where I have no complaints about the actual wrestling shows. The only thing I have complaints about is all the nonsense that's going on in the backstage area. so it's like, so so it's just one of those things where it's just like that's why we're here. There's no shortage of things to talk about, and we're here to make all the nonsense, or at least try to make the nonsense make sense.
It makes
Yes.
you terrified to actually go ahead and peek behind that curtain and check in on the backstage news. I'll tell you that much.
I'm sorry, go back behind the curtain and take a look at what?
Looking in on the
Backstage news.
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 News. What the hell is going on, man?
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go right into it. This was a weird one. So not only did, as we discussed last week, Vince McMahon returning to the company and going back on the board of directors, we also got the resignation of Stephanie McMahon this week, officially resigning as co-CEO, and the full CEO duties going to jolly old Saint Nick Khan. But just when we thought it couldn't get any weirder, a lot of heavily almost confirmed rumors that Saudi Arabia Trust Fund, National Fund, whatever you want to call
Like
it,
a private fund, Saudi
a
private
fund in
fund.
Saudi Arabia had
Yeah.
supposedly purchased WWE, according to some relatively reputable sources. And for what seemed to be the most tense 12 hours in wrestling fan history, we were all sweating, only for the rumors to be completely quashed by the next morning, and putting all of our minds at relative ease that WWE may have been up for sale, but the Saudi Arabian government or any financial interests over there have not purchased it yet.
Because the deal is this: it was it was the it was 12 hours of every wrestling fan being in harmony for the first time in probably about 25 years. Where every wrestling fan in existence heard this news and was like, Vince McMahon, what the fuck are you doing? That just in unison, everybody, it was the one thing we could all agree on. It was just like Vince McMahon can come back. Okay, you're gonna have some people who are okay with that. Okay, it's not gonna be people on this panel, but you're gonna have some people that are okay with that. There are some people who will always be okay with things that you're not okay with. In this case, we found the one that everybody in unison was like, no, no, we can't do that. Can't happen.
Nope. No, sir, no, ma'am, no, everybody.
Yeah, because first of all, it's like first read the room. Okay, nobody likes it. Nobody likes that you're doing Saudi Arabia shows to begin with. Okay, so everybody has a problem with it. Okay, you have people on your own roster who refuse to go over there. Okay, you sell the company to them. You might as well fire those people right now. Say goodbye to Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens is going to walk if you fire Sami Zayn. So it's just like that. That's just a bad move all around. So that's why everything was tense for those 12 hours, because it's like, dude, you just killed your company in one shot. Like, it wasn't even a slow burn. You just nuked it from the ground up. Okay, so when it came out the next morning that the rumors weren't true, it's like, okay. Okay, some dumb shit could still go on, but at least it's not the end times.
Scholar Tarek, break it down for us from your perspective. How did you hear about this, and how was the ride for you, for lack of more scientific terms, I guess?
The simplest answer I can give right now was Brian is down there basically laughing at just this wild ride that we went on in those 12 hours of the possible finalizing deals of Saudi Arabia. For me, I was on the verge of tears. I was so scared. Because the way I looked at it was, it was a WWF show in 1990 that made me a wrestling fan in the first place. And I was been following this company for a long, long, long time. I dedicated so much of my life to this, like, to what's going on with this show, with these wrestlers, everything. And see this old man who went against the board's warnings and took complete power to him and put himself right back on the top of the board. And the first thing he does is, how I look at it, as him trolling everybody that this deal was about to go through, because I felt like this was Vince McMahon pulling a Mr. McMahon move on the internet wrestling community. Because he knew that it would have gotten this reaction, and he knew that the truths behind the deal actually made sense, that it actually could have been true, knowing Vince McMahon's history. So what he did in those 12 hours just felt like, and the fact that it was just like, oh no, it was all fabrication. Nothing is finalized. It's nothing that close. I looked at it as some people used the Mark Henry promo as a retirement promo as a meme for Vince McMahon going away. I looked at this as his Mark Henry retiring promo, and the next day the reveal that it was all fake was just him body slamming all of us.
So, in other words, are you suggesting that Vince McMahon deliberately knew who his leakers were, put the word out there, deliberately knowing it was fake, just to spread a false rumor?
That's my guess on it, because he was, knowing how bitter Vince is, and like knowing his history, like from interviews, and just knowing the type of person that he is, he would definitely do this to spite everyone that was happy that he left the company in the first place.
Okay, I admit I did not expect that take.
That's how I felt about it. As soon as it happened, I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You like." Because it was a post on Reddit that got everyone crazy.
Yes, that was the exact one that's really started getting things going on Reddit.
yeah, it was a post on Reddit that got everybody talking, and then like actual like people who like have broken like stuff before. The guy who said who first broke that Bryan Danielson was coming to AEW.
Exactly.
Okay,
So,
he basically confirmed it, if you will. So when he confirmed it was when I was like, is this really happening?
I think this was, yeah, I think it was all even just a ploy that him and his people did. Like, because Stephanie resigning was beforehand, and she knew that him being there was not the best thing for her, for their image.
Yeah,
So
and it's
she
also
might
like, and she took it one step further, because before Vince McMahon left, okay, she had stepped back from her duties to spend time with the kids and all that, but she didn't resign. She just she was on sabbatical, I guess you could call it. Okay, this time she's done. She has nothing to do with WWE right now. She's done. She's out. So that was also like that was also a thing where it happened like in like 4 hours after that news came out, was when the Saudi news came out, and I was like, and that was another thing that was like, did she quit because of this?
I think she quit just to basically stay away from him, because she
Well,
knew
yeah,
that he was going to be coming back, he pretty much like was coming back with a vengeance,
yeah, like,
being forced to resign, or
well,
yeah,
now
forced to retire.
it's like, well, now after the fact, I
Hmm.
can go back to that because that's what I first thought it was, and then I saw the Saudi news come out, and I was like, oh, that's why.
But then when the relief,
And then afterwards,
but then yeah,
yeah,
afterwards when the relief came that actually wasn't true, I was just having a sigh of relief, because, like I said, starting, I have been a fan for a long, long time, and now knowing that Vince didn't just come walking behind with a silencer and just shooting WWE in the back of the head by making a Saudi deal. Now knowing that, like, even though it's still on the table, knowing that it's not that close, nothing is even close to being finalized with a sale, it was a sigh of relief.
Hmm.
And now with Triple H having his meeting not this one, having this meeting today before SmackDown, knowing that relieving everyone in the creative side, like the wrestlers and all that, I'm still in charge creatively. Everything that's happening back at corporate is not going to affect us. So I'm kind of hopeful that now Triple H is now more taking a stand than just having Vince steamroll over him, because he's been in this family for how long have they been married now? Close to 20 years, maybe even more.
something like that. Yep.
Probably, yeah, probably more at this rate.
I think it was
I think it's
early
even closer to
2000s.
30
No, early 2000s.
for when their storyline married or when they really got married.
When they really got married. They got storyline married in '99.
Okay. For decades. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's able to actually, talk to Vince and be like, okay, you had your fun. I still think it's absolutely wrong that you're trying to sell the company, which I agree. I agree with Triple H. It's a stupid idea to try to sell the company. But funny enough, once the word started picking up that Tony Khan and his dad were actually throwing their names into the pool as potential buyers of WWE, that's where I actually started pulling what Brian was doing and just actually starting to be like, well, that's an interesting turn of events. That's a little fun. That's something fun that we can talk about. And now it's even gotten bigger of like being with Tony Khan asked him, hey, if he got it, he would merge AEW and WWE. That's so many different things. My immediate response to that talk with him is like, oh, I'll just merge the two companies together. I'd be like, what? No, that's a stupid idea. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not against the Khans actually purchasing the WWE, but the idea of actually, merging this company is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Why
I think
don't
I
you just
saw.
do why don't you just
It
do
would-
like you do with Ring of Honor and just have it be its own separate thing that just you happen to own?
Yeah, that's one universal consensus I keep seeing, that this is probably a very bad idea for multiple reasons, mostly just to keep the diversity of the wrestling shows alive and active and all that. And just to so we don't have a repeat of post Monday Night Wars and all that, have a monopoly on wrestling again.
Yeah.
But for the time being,
that's-
the idea itself is pretty damn funny.
Yeah, that's basically what the whole thing is. It's one of those things like we know in our smart brains that it would not work. It would be funny. There would be a chuckle to be had, but it would not work in the long run because first of all, Tony Khan is already spread too thin as it is. Okay, he's got AEW. He books and owns AEW and ROH. Okay, he's got a football team that is actually good enough to be talked about now in the Jaguars. So it's just one of those things. You got too much on your plate already. Now you want to add
Here,
the
the way
WWE on top of that. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like it's good for the lulz. It's good for the chuckle. It's good to have something to talk about, but we all know in the long run it doesn't make sense for all parties involved.
the only counter argument I can really have with that is with AEW, he was one of the big benefactors of creating this company. This was, of course, so it makes sense of him wanting to be on creative on that end because it's essentially he's one of the parents of this company. For Ring of Honor, it was on the verge of just falling apart anyway. So I feel like in WWE's case, he just basically is just the guy in charge, and he just let the company continue on how it's been, just instead of Vince doing anything crazy. He would just be like, okay, so I'll just be the boss. You just come report to me, and I'll just be like on only those things. But when it comes to the company, this is all you guys. Be yourselves. You just report to me. That's how I would look. That's how I would look at it. Because you already had a company that's been around for around 40 years. So I don't think, like, other than just him owning it, I don't see him basically going, okay, what are you gonna do day to day on these things? What am I gonna do stepping into WWE HQ?
I don't think not much of anything. He'll probably, given the kind of guy he is and how big of a fan he is, I think he'll definitely have that moment of, hey, what's up? I'm strolling in here, like an Elon Musk at Twitter kind of moment.
Yeah, he'll do that.
He'll definitely be a Twitter troll that first week of voting.
No, it's basically him. It's basically him just basically buying Disney World and just walking into the Magic Kingdom by himself. It's like,
doing the Vince walk.
Doing the Vince walk up and down. He'll just go up and down the hallways. He'll go into what used to be Vince McMahon's office and just nothing but a chair, and he'll just sit back and just goes. He'll get up and you just see him walking down the hallways again, and he'll just walk out the door. and then he'll just throw a special effect of WWE headquarters blowing up.
No chance.
No chance. That's what Jim got.
I love how this idea has just turned into a big old cartoon.
It was a cartoon. It would be a cartoon.
Yeah, it's like, as I said, this whole situation is very good for a chuckle and for the lulz. Do I think it makes sense for all parties involved? No, I don't. And that's just the way it'll be. I still think it makes more sense to go for the streaming providers.
Yeah,
to go for the NBC Universal or the
go to
or the
Comcast.
Disney.
Comcast or Disney. Those are my top two.
Yeah, I'm like that makes the most sense. It's just that makes the most sense to me.
It makes the most sense than going to Saudi Arabia. And I would honestly just throw the Khans up there just because I just love the idea of them owning the company, but once again, not merging the companies. So you can actually have cross-promotional shows. Give us the dream matches of WWE versus AEW superstars that we've been wanting for ever since they
since they were founded.
Yeah, ever since AEW was founded. Exactly. And the wrestlers are best friends with one another on both brands. So there's no problem here.
Well, and we would finally get that New Day versus Elite dream match that they've been messing with for years now.
Exactly. And I'm not going to lie. I want to see Tony Khan hug Triple H like he hugged Cesaro. How would that be?
Thank you for accepting my bid.
Not even just thank you for accepting. Thank you for us putting the Wednesday Night Wars and just the attempt to just one-upping each other aside to show, hey, we are wrestling. We love wrestling. So let's have our best guys put on possibly the show of decades.
Can you imagine if that happened, what that year's WrestleMania would look like?
Oh my God, that would actually
would be like pants-soilingly amazing.
Although like the WrestleMania nowadays is now more focusing on like what celebrity will appear. Just through a wrestling aspect, that's just amazing. I would love to see like WrestleMania actually taking up the name of wrestling, worldwide wrestling, all the of just that would be like the biggest WrestleMania ever of two of wrestling's biggest companies actually working together as a cross-promotional thing.
That would be absolutely stellar. But then again, I feel like we're getting to that pie in the sky stuff where it's just so astronomically low of that actually happening.
Jeff, we were just talking about Tony Khan walking through WWE headquarters and blowing it up while he's walking out the door. It's all just fantasy now, right now, because that's all it can be, because it's just now the question of where do we go from here.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the Khans are in the running, let's be real. If I can be serious for a moment, I really don't think that it's likely that the Khans will actually end up purchasing WWE with the aid of investors. It's not impossible. It's certainly the most entertaining of the options to think about. But like we talked about, there's another aspect to this that sort of I've heard mentioned, is that it's more likely that WWE might be sold to someone who already has some sort, given that the broadcasting rights are a big reason why Vince McMahon even came back and is looking at a sale right now to begin with. There is some talk that the WWE is more likely to be sold to some company that already has some measure of distribution rights with WWE, like perhaps Comcast, like maybe Fox, or
that would be Disney, since Disney owns it.
Okay, well, Disney then. If I had to take a guess right now as far as what the most likely person or entity to purchase it, I'm probably going to go with Comcast.
because they're already on Peacock
Mm-hmm.
and all that,
Mhm.
and so Comcast, NBC Universal, okay, the NBC Universal does the Peacock. USA is under its umbrella, which Raw is
Their
on.
highest rated show.
So it's like NBC Universal slash Comcast makes the most sense. Disney could also work because you need a streaming service for WWE streaming. That's what you need. So it's like they technically already have one. They do have one. So it's like that should be the number one person you're looking to sell to.
And they
You
already owns
have
one that
everything.
had WWE television on it with Hulu.
Yes. So I'm like, and that's a Disney, and that was what was that? ABC was the big thing for Hulu.
All I know is that it's
So
Disney now.
yeah, so it's Disney now. So it's like those are your two best options. Those are your two easiest options to go for because you already have a base there.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, for the lulz, I'm rooting for the cons.
I would be happy. It was just basically like it's just those three now for me. Comcast, Disney, and the cons.
The cons are the dark horse pick, I imagine. But speaking of the cons, this on a slight tangent, this is one thing that was brought to my attention that is highly interesting to me. Tarek, maybe you two would actually brought both you and Brian would be able to talk about this because I'm not much of a football fan, but the Super Bowl is rapidly approaching. And from what I understand, the Jacksonville Jaguars are actually in the playoffs this year.
They are.
Yes.
Because I don't follow football.
I know.
Here's a scholar's quick talk for you all. What is the chance of the Jacksonville Jaguars actually getting to the Super Bowl or even winning it, and WWE actually sending Tony and Shad Khan a WWE belt? What are realistically? What are the chances of that happening?
As much as I would love to see it, it's slim. It's very slim.
It's slim.
Like there's a chance they're out tomorrow. We're taping on a Friday. There's a chance they're out tomorrow.
Are they playing tomorrow?
They're playing tomorrow against the Los Angeles Chargers, one of the best young quarterbacks in the game. It's just like there's a very good chance they're out tomorrow. But it's
a great visual to see Tony Khan getting a WWE championship.
He would pee his pants so fast.
But you know what? I'm a Giants fan. I've seen some weird shit. So it's like, as I said, slim chance, but I'm not going to say it can't happen because I've seen two Giants teams that had no business winning Super Bowls win those Super Bowls that they were in. So it's like, yeah, you never know. And yes, I would laugh very hard and enjoy it so much. If
honestly, I actually do firmly believe Tony Khan wants to hug Triple H.
Hey,
I know they're looking. I know it is because he is such a hardcore wrestling fan, and the fact that like he's gotten Triple H's attention like this, I think like the day they actually meet, which another reason why I kind of think they threw their name in the betting pool. So, all right, just in case any of these people who are wanting to buy this company actually meet, it would be his chance to be like, I am Mr. Levesque. I am just so happy to meet you. Can I please hug you?
I don't want your company. I just want a hug.
I just want to work with you. And really looking at it, I would like AEW is like how the current television product is for both companies, with AEW getting a brand new production, consistently good weekly television shows. They ever since Full Gear, they have definitely raised up their game, and they're back to the level where it was before even CM Punk came back to wrestling, where AEW is at such an all-time high right now, and they are raising the ratings. And to be fair, Vince McMahon coming back actually was a big step down for WWE. But I think it's now reaching that point with them having also having consistently good wrestling shows, weekly televised wrestling shows. They're actually reaching a point where the product are very even.
You know what? As controversial as that was a statement to make, in a lot of ways, the gap is definitely closing. Not to mention it.
Because when Triple H was in full in charge, and the fallout of All Out, it was a completely different scenario. WWE was at his all-time high, and AEW was basically on its all-time low, just struggling. And now that they've picked themselves back up and now putting on good product, and then WWE gets knocked down because of Vince McMahon screwing everything up as he always does. Yeah, it really is. It really is such a big difference from just a few weeks ago. But again, as a professional wrestling fan, I can't ask for anything better with this product that they're putting on TV with AEW and WWE. And that I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that we are at a very good point when it comes to the on-screen product. I cannot wait for whatever this hell that we're in from in the backstage view sides of it. I can't wait for that to finally finish whatever it is, and we get back on track where we were at the end of 2022.
And in all seriousness, that's one thing that sort of gives me a little bit more calm when it comes to the state of wrestling today. It looks like, with the sole exception of if, and this is a big if right now, if Vince McMahon actually does dip his hands into creative again, which at this point, I am pretty confident he won't. I'll say that right now. Because I'm confident it's actually looking good. I'm confident that whoever ends up purchasing WWE, they're not going to want to mess with it. If they're going to buy it, they know it can be successful. They know that do not stir the pot as long as they're doing okay. Do not interrupt anything. Just let them do what they're doing, especially with Triple H at the helm of creative. I think everyone involved knows the value of that.
Agreed. Very much agreed.
Splendid. And with that, this is going to be an ongoing story, as we all know. But now is where we're going to turn it over to you, our fellow fans. What did you make of this insane week in wrestling? And who do you think is actually going to end up purchasing WWE? And most importantly of all, are the Jacksonville Jaguars going to the Super Bowl? No matter what you think, we want to hear from you. Of course they won't, but hey, a man can dream.
Just for the image of Tony Khan with the WWE Championship for the Jaguars.
Hey, stranger things have literally happened.
See, my favorite team's in the NFC. So in the back of my head, it's just like
no.
I'm rooting for the Jaguars on the AFC side, just for the lulz of seeing Tony Khan hold the belt. I got to root for the Bills because I bet on them to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. So
I'm rooting for the Bills because I was born and raised. So
I was going to actually ask you after recording stopped, like, I know you're a Bills fan, Tarek. What's their chances this year in your mind, realistically?
Their chances are good.
Their chances are very good, but I'm not getting my hopes up because I'm just so used to the disappointment, so I'm not getting my hopes up to be that disappointed. But
Yeah,
I am very like excited for what they're going to do in the playoffs.
yeah, I'm like their chances are good, but they have to get through the Chiefs, and they have trouble doing that in the playoffs.
Yep.
So so that's their big issue. And I'm a Giants fan. I'm just happy to be here.
Go Team Nachos. But anyway, we've been doing a lot of speculation, a lot of fantasy booking of our own tonight. But now is the time of the year when you can fantasy book along with us, because it is time once again for the annual Royal Rumble game presented by us here at the Scholars of Wrestling Show. The page has just gone live on Facebook. The prediction forums are now live. You can actually find that right now in the description of this episode, no matter whether you're following us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Check the description below for the link to fill out your own prediction form and enter to win a chance to win a $25 gift card to the WWE shop. We're giving one away. If you win, if you get first place, you got the gift card. We're going to give one away. This is real. And yeah, it makes an even already fun game every single year. This is the 13th annual game we've been running. And it's always a whole buttload of fun every single year. And we're inviting you to join us. So
the three of us are past Royal Rumble game winners.
Yes, we've all won the Royal Rumble game at one point or another. But correct me if I'm wrong, Tarek. Has there ever been a two-time winner of the Royal Rumble game?
Two-time?
Yeah,
I do think so. I
think there might be at least one.
I think there is at least one. Let's go to the website. Let's go to the Facebook page, plugging, as I find out.
There you go. While you're looking that up, if you want to join in the conversation leading up to the Royal Rumble of all things wrestling and maybe a couple things football too,
yes,
check us out on Twitter and join in the conversation. Brian, where can they reach you?
You can reach me trying to figure out what the hell is going on at Atomic Beanpole and having a hard time of it.
And Tarek, where can they reach you, and do you have an answer for us?
I do have an answer, and it is a yes. Anthony Peterson is a two-time World Game winner. Congratulations, my good man. And you can find me continue to bitch about how much I hate Vince McMahon at the Avatar.
And you can follow me at I'm Robbie Rage, joining in all the festivities and fun this time of year brings with us, because there's going to be a lot of predictions and a lot of games to go around. And hey, maybe there might even be a prize or two. But you got to be in it to win it. You already knew that, because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all next week. Batten down the hatches. It's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, snap.